I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, May the 9th, 2016. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met this morning with Belgian Foreign Minister Didier Reynders in Jerusalem. The two discussed diplomatic relations between Israel and Belgium and the threat of radical Islam. And the foreign minister thanked Netanyahu for Israel's assistance in the aftermath of the Brussels terror attack in March, for which the Islamic State took responsibility. During the meeting, Netanyahu also weighed in on the peace initiative being pushed by France, to which Israel is opposed as it involves outside parties rather than direct talks between Israel and the Palestinians. Netanyahu stressed that such initiatives, quote, allow the Palestinians to avoid direct negotiations, thereby making peace more remote. Israel's Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon warned today that if attacks on Israeli troops from terror group Hamas in Gaza continue, Israel would take further action. Ya'alon said that against this terror stands the IDF and different security forces who are responding decisively to the shooting from the Strip. Shooting that, if it continues, he said, will lead to a more severe response for Hamas and other terror organizations in the Strip until they understand it's not worth their while to test us. The defense minister said the Israeli troops were being targeted as they use advanced technology to locate Hamas terror tunnels along the border between Gaza and Israel. As we've been reporting to you, IDF troops have come under repeated mortar fire from Gaza over the past several days. Israel's security agency, the Shin Bet, has a new chief. Nadav Argaman will now lead Israel's security agency, which released a report yesterday listing its success in the prevention of numerous attacks against Israelis. A total of 77 thwarted terror attacks since the beginning of 2016 were noted. Argaman replaces outgoing director Yoram Cohen. Yesterday, the Women of the Wall, the group who advocates for equal rights at the Western Wall, held a female version of Birkat HaKohanim, the priestly blessing traditionally given by male descendants of Kohens, the Hebrew priests during the time of the Temple. As we reported to you last month, Israel's Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit had ruled against the group's request to hold the blessing at the women's section of the Kotel, citing that it went against traditional customs of the site. However, despite being briefly detained by security at the entrance to the wall, the women were ultimately allowed to proceed with the blessing. Ynet reports that the son of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is in Israel. Martin Luther King III came to the country in order to present the 2016 Unsung Hero Award to 3 Israelis in recognition of their work on behalf of Ethiopian Jewish immigrants to Israel. This was the first time that the award was presented outside the United States. Awards were given to Israeli musician and singer Idan Reichel, former Knesset member Pnina Tamano-Shata, who is the first Ethiopian-born woman to hold that position, and journalist Anat Saragusti. The ceremony was held at the Jewish Agency in Jerusalem, where agency chief Natan Sharansky spoke of the connections between the U.S. civil rights movement, the struggle for Soviet Jewry, and the rescue of Ethiopian Jewry. Israel's Central Bureau of Statistics released a population report today as we approach the country's 68th birthday. Its population stands at 8,522,000, 6,377,000 of whom are Jewish Israelis, making up 74.8%. Arab Israelis number 1,771,000, 20.8% of the population. And Christians, non-Arabs, and other groups account for 4.4% of the population. In 1948, Israel's population stood at 806,000. And Reebok is marking Israel's upcoming birthday with a special sneaker. The blue and white Israel 68 was released today in honor of the country's 68th Independence Day, which begins Wednesday night. CEO of Reebok Israel, Moshe Sinai, said this was a one-time celebratory release as a collector's item in Israel and abroad. The special footwear will be sold on Independence Day in a special auction on the Reebok Facebook page. All proceeds from the sale will be donated to the organization CrossFit Without Borders, which helps people with mental disabilities. And gearing up for Yom HaAtzmaut, when the Jewish world celebrates the anniversary of the establishment of the State of Israel, JBS will have special programming all week long here on the channel, celebrating the State of Israel's independence and remembering its fallen. Including tonight at 7 o'clock, Senior Vice President of the Shalem Center, Daniel Gordis, asks why Israel's survival is critical to the future of Jews throughout the world. At 8 o'clock, literary editor of the New York Republic and a leading commentator on the Jewish and Israeli social scene, Leon Wieseltier, reflects on Israel and puts the Jewish state into perspective for world Jewry. Then at 8, Sergeant in Reserve of the IDF, Benjamin Anthony, who defends the IDF on college campuses across the U.S., talks about his Jewish youth in the U.K. and his commitment to Israel and the Jewish people. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, the Jewish Daily Forward's Nathan Gutman talks about the presidential candidates on tonight's election 2016 with Mark Golub. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, May the 9th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.